you obviously see it a lot more with sprints on the track, but distance runners don't typically need to start that precisely on the gun. So you're just trying to stay relaxed, stay focused, regroup, and not let it affect you.
"67 degrees, a slight wind today, about 8 miles per hour. Obviously overcast conditions to start. Expecting the sun to poke through from time to time here.
All things considered, for Texas, it's some pretty nice weather. It's nothing like these runners we'll see in Wisconsin later this month, but it's some pretty good weather.
Pete Souza with John Nouns, and we are ready to go here.
Looks like a clean start this time around. We see immediately Kaylee McCabe from West Virginia right out in front.
And you've had a lot to say about McCabe coming up to this race, and I think a lot of folks in the cross-country orbit, or in her orbit, have talked a lot about Kaylee McCabe as well.
She's an excellent runner, and you know that because she competed in the Paris Olympics this summer for Team Canada in the 3,000-meter steeplechase. She didn't compete last year for West Virginia, I think due to injury, but she's back this year. She's a senior. She's experienced. She's won this cross-country meet at the Big 12s back in 2021 and in 2022, so she's definitely looking to add to that collection here today.
Now we see the pack taking shape. These runners, now they ran out here yesterday. They get a feel for it. How much different is it the second time around?
Well, I think yesterday for the pre-meet, all the runners are trying to just get a sense of, where to go on the course. There's some different kinds of white lines that you might see on this course here today, and some of the white lines aren't actually even for this meet today. I think they were probably left over from a previous meet. So the runners are just making sure they're familiar as we see they're crossing over that first little sidewalk. Looks pretty smooth.
But we are getting, by the way, official word that false start took place because someone had fallen within the first 100 meters.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't think we saw that in real time, but yeah, certainly falling in the opening run out, that's a good time for a recall.
So that is McCabe out leading the pack. Getting a look at our cart cam, and now back to that drone footage.
Yeah, it looks like, just judging from this field right now, they're strung out decently so. So I mean, it's definitely not a sit and kick kind of championship style race. It looks like the women are out running, honestly. And there's even a separation here. That top pack of about 6 athletes has already put a little bit of a gap on the rest of the field.
And some of the women we were looking at before this race, right? Kaylee McCabe, Juliet Cherubet, Lexi Halliday-Lowry, Joy Naucott. We are seeing them towards the front of the pack, but obviously plenty of time left.
Yeah, Juliet from Texas Tech is definitely someone that Kaylee McCabe is watching out for. Earlier this year, Juliet Cherubet got first place at the Arturo Barrios Invitational. Her time of 18:37 for 6K broke the famous Parker Valby's course record by 21 seconds, showing her incredible fitness this year. She was third here a year ago as a freshman, looking to move up, hopefully to become a champion this year.
And you see that's Joy Naucott, joined by Kaylee McCabe.
Yep, the 2 West Virginia women out front early, as well as looks like Lexi Halliday-Lowry from BYU in that lead group. We see here's that first sort of tight U-turn kind of turn. I see Juliet Cherubet there in white on the left side of the screen.
And if vision serves me correctly, that's Lexi Halliday-Lowry.
Yep, in the black singlet on the right side.
She is right behind Joy Naucott.
Yep.
And those four, as we expected, with an early separation.
Yep, and I see kind of in that middle area, I think that's Anastasia Chepcourier from Texas Tech, Juliet's teammate here. But it looks like that top four is already starting to even pull away from her.
A little bit of rain overnight into Thursday morning. Has been dry here in Central Texas since then.
Yeah, look at that. We're 4.5 minutes into this race, and look how sparse that top of the field is. It's showing clearly that these top runners, they don't want to mess around with the rest of the pack. You know, sometimes you see these championship-style races, everyone's trying to go for the win. No one wants to, you know, make moves early, so it's a sit-and-kick kind of race. But these women here today, that's not the approach they're taking.
And you and I talked prior to the start of today's event, and the training may leave a little bit to be desired, right? Because you want to make sure you're taking care of your body and not going 100 miles an hour coming into a race like this. But when they get on the course, when they get on the track today, right, they're leaving it all out there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a fine line, I think, sometimes with distance running training, specifically in the cross-country season, because you want to ultimately peak at nationals, but at the same time, you know that this Big 12 championship race, this is a big deal. This is important. I remember my coach at Iowa State, Martin Smith, would say, Big 12 pays the bills. This is what it's all about. When it comes to the week of the Big 12s, you got to lock in and understand what's at stake here.
And you see Lexi Halliday-Lowry, or hear it, getting some encouragement from the crowd.
Yeah, like we expected, these top four women, they're the best in this field, and they're showing it early on. They all look smooth and comfortable as they approach the 3K mark. I think I heard yesterday we're going to see live splits at the 3K mark. So once we get those splits, we should get a sense of how the team race is stacking up. But like we talked about earlier, you know, ultimately cross country is a team sport, and we have some of the best teams in the country here racing on the women's side. BYU, obviously, and then you've got West Virginia. They're trying to prove that their performance earlier this year at pre-nationals wasn't a fluke. They should be considered a top podium team, as we see the runners are running right by where we're sitting. And then, of course, the newcomer to the conference, Utah, they have a great history of distance running. Their coach, Kyle Kepler, he's been in Utah for 20 seasons, and the last 10 years or so, they've been a consistent qualifier to that NCAA meet. So certainly happy to have Utah here joining the conference with us.
Yeah, one of the first actual championship events in the Big 12 with the expanded conference.
Absolutely, yeah, and Utah's not the only big addition to the conference this year. Colorado, one of the great historical powerhouses in distance running. We're probably not going to talk too much about them today. They're in a rebuilding phase on the women's side and a little bit on the men's side as well. But they've got a great young coach, Sean Carlson. He's a proven builder of programs. What he did at Notre Dame, what he did at Tennessee, he's built programs. And you combine that ability that he's shown in the past with the resources and the tradition and the history of Colorado. I expect even in a couple years, Colorado's going to be right there at the front with these other programs.
As we see the bend there, are you surprised to see just 3 runners really separating themselves right now up towards the pack?
Not too surprised. You never really know how the race is going to play out, but I think what we've seen recently, mostly on the men's side, is that you've got cross-country races that are more honest, it seems like. It feels like a few years ago there was definitely a trend where even the cross-country races would be sit-and-kick races, and that was less true on the women's side. The women have always seemed to run honestly from the gun for whatever reason, and we're seeing that here today.
Joy Naucott surging ahead in that trio now.
Yeah, Joy's really a big reason why that West Virginia team has overperformed expectations earlier this season. She joins Kaylee McCabe as a second big-time low stick for the West Virginia women. And once Kaylee graduates after this year, it looks like Joy will be kind of the heir apparent to Kaylee McCabe at West Virginia.
Coming up on 10 minutes gone. So there you see it at the top of your screen through 3K. Those are the women's teams, and then of course the runners towards the bottom half of your screen.
Yes, and I'm absolutely interested to see how this team race is going to unfold. It's tough with how strung out this pack is to even get a sense of how the teams are out early, but this 3K mark will get a sense of how the teams are performing. And we've got the scores coming in here. BYU first, followed by West Virginia and Utah. So about the order that we expect early on.
And the two West Virginia runners, as we see McCabe now take command and followed closely by her teammate.
Yep, Lexi Halliday-Lowry from BYU has fallen back a little bit. She's obviously running for more than just herself. She's trying to secure a second consecutive Big 12 championship for the BYU women.
Halliday-Lowry, fifth right now. Nowcott and McCabe, the Mountaineer duo out in front.
Yeah, this is impressive now. Look at, we've got Kaylee McCabe is right in front of her teammate, and then Juliet Cherubet's trying to hang on to that first couple.
And you can already see some of the impact that the runners are having on the track.
Yeah, and here we go. We just saw them cross over that sidewalk for this golf course that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, you see it now from that drone. That's a great shot of it.
Yep. Yeah, it's not something that you find at your Oklahoma States or Wisconsins. These runners probably aren't used to that. But I think as long as the race is strung out and the athletes are not all bunched up, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I would be more concerned early on in the race if they're all bunched up and there's a big pack and you're trying to navigate that sidewalk.
If you're just joining us, we are in Waco, Texas, at Cottonwood Golf Course. Pete Souza with former Iowa State runner John Downs, as we are more than 3K deep, our leaders are.
And look at that. Kaylee McCabe from West Virginia appears to be pulling away from her teammate now. She's all by herself now.
I can hear it in your voice. She just hit another gear.
Yeah, I mean, she's an incredible runner, incredible fitness that she's shown for years. So it's no surprise to see her up front kind of dominating this field, but it's impressive nonetheless.
And not far behind her is Joy Nowcott.
Like we said, Kaylee McCabe this summer competed at Team Canada for the 3,000-meter steeplechase, so she's an excellent steeplechaser, but maybe just as good of a cross-country runner too.
Nowcott right behind her finished 10th at pre-nationals.
Yeah, she's only a freshman, and she's run extremely well. I mean, Kaylee McCabe is one of the best runners in the country, but Joy and some of these other women, they might also be, nearly as good as her. Certainly all-American caliber runners. So Kaylee McCabe looks to be an individual NCAA championship contender with how she's running. We see this nice split screen too with the pack plus the lead camera card. It's always nice to get a sense of how the 3, 4, 5 runners are running, because ultimately for team cross-country scores, so much of the time it comes down to how good is your 3, 4, 5 people. So it's good to kind of get a sense of how those teams are doing with that split screen. Kaylee McCabe's out front, but her teammate Joy still hanging on, not too far behind. But Kaylee McCabe just keeps pushing, keeps driving all the way. Reminds me a little bit, sometimes you see these marathon races on the roads and you've got that drone camera and you've got individual runners kind of like in no man's land as people are putting in surges and you're trying to like judge the relative distances between people. It's fun to watch.
Does the lead right now that McCabe has, does it surprise you at this juncture?
Come on, Brooklyn, come on.
I don't think it does. I mean, she is an excellent runner, and she's a senior too, so she's a veteran. She knows how to win these races. She's got great competition, but at the same time, she is, in a class of her own, I think. Multiple-time All-American. We've talked about the steeplechase. She's been, third, sixth place in the outdoor steeplechase, as well as sixth in the indoor mile at NCAA. So all around, she's gotten it done on the Big 12 stage, winning Big 12 championships, and then at the national stage, multiple-time All-American. As well as we should point out, too, all the way back in 2021, she was third nationally in cross country. So she's been good at this for a long time.
So Juliet Cherubet from Texas Tech is in third place right now.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a battle for second place forming kind of in that chase pack, Juliet versus Joy. A couple of excellent young runners, and probably once Kaylee graduates next year, they'll be right at the top there. Yep. Next woman up. We see Maya Porcher from Iowa State. She's had an excellent season. It's definitely a rebuilding year for the Cyclones. They've got a new coach. Coach Rudolph left, and now we've got Kale Wallace from Iowa State, has been an assistant with the men the last year or two. Iowa State's a program that, they see themselves on both the men's and the women's side as, a program that should qualify for nationals every single year, make it to the top 10 at NCAAs, and on good years, make it to the podium. So there's lots of teams in the Big 12 that are proud cross-country programs that pour a lot of resources and energy into being good at this sport. And you might have a down year or a rebuilding year one year, but that doesn't change the fact that these athletes and their coaches are competitive, and they're going to do what it takes to try to win championships.
Well, you could feel that energy here before the race. You certainly can hear it now. As that is Juliet Cherubet from Texas Tech, who looks like she has surged ahead of Joy Naucott, as of course Kaylee McCabe maintains command of the lead here.
Yep, they're coming to the getting close to the finish now. Kaylee still looks good as she always has.
A slight mist coming down here in Waco, Texas, just starting, but McCabe running right through it.
Absolutely. She's looked great start to finish. She broke away early on and just has not missed a beat. Has just powered all the way from start to finish. And here she comes to the finish.
Yeah. 800 meters left.
Yep, she's passing by the start line, so she's on the final straightaway. And you can even see these other runners going the other way on the course.
Giving you an idea just how fast that pack in front is going.
Absolutely. A dominant race by Kaylee McCabe. She's absolutely establishing herself as someone to watch later this month at Wisconsin.
She crosses the finish line first. And now the race for second is our focus.
Absolutely, and we need to see what these team scores start to look like as these athletes start to make their way through.
So Cherubet second and Naucott third.
Excellent races by those two. So West Virginia picks up 2 great low sticks here today.
And the embrace by the teammates, knowing that not only do they share individual success, but certainly putting their team in a position to succeed as well.
Absolutely. And that looks like Lexi from BYU crossing the finish line.
Lexi Halliday Lowry.
Oh, and she's joined by a couple of her BYU teammates too. Some Oklahoma State women finishing as well. Oklahoma State, another team on the women's side. They're in a rebuilding phase. Talked to Dave Smith a little bit about it yesterday. You know, he's lost a couple of his low sticks from previous years, Taylor Rowe, Molly Bourne, but he's really been impressed with how some of the women on this team have kind of grown up this season. And like Colorado, like Iowa State, expect them to be right at the top here next year. And we're waiting for the live results to come on through. But from what I could tell, I think I counted about 4 BYU women in very early on in the race. I probably missed, I'm sure I missed the 5th one. But Oklahoma State had a couple of runners finish high up too. And of course, West Virginia with a great 1-2 punch with Kaylee and Joy.
And you see these runners collapsing with emotion, and sometimes because of the physicality of it, but the drama of sports, you just absolutely have to love it. You see it today.
Absolutely. Every single one of these athletes, whether they're, you know, Kaylee McCabe out front or in the middle of the pack, they're exhausting themselves completely here today, and that's what's so fun about the sport. You're always pushing yourself to the physical limit of what you can do.
Did the timing surprise you at all of McCabe, how early she finished?
Well, she definitely put a lot of distance between, say, like, you know, like Lexi Halliday Lowry. You know, we expected a number of these women to be All-American level runners, and they absolutely are. But I think it speaks volumes to how good Kaylee McCabe is, that she puts that kind of distance, that kind of time between herself and some of these other All-American runners. I'm really excited to see later this month what Kaylee can do on the national stage.
You see the BYU team having a chance to catch their breath, because most all of them finished towards the front of that pack.
Yeah, it looked like a good race by the BYU women. Of course, we're still waiting to see these results populate. I think there's a little bit of a delay here, but as soon as we get these live results, we'll have to see how the team race shook up.
See the runners still coming in at the finish.
And there's their coach, Coach Dulce Taylor, having a post-race talk with her team.
How about what you had a chance to talk with her yesterday, and you were giving her and her team kudos for coming into this race, being one of the top teams in the country.
Yeah, as soon as I asked her my first question, I think I said something like, you know, your women come in ranked #1 in the country. She cut me off. She said, "That's not real. It's not real." You know, she's a smart coach. She's a couple-time coach of the year. She's one of the best coaches in the NCAA. She knows what she's doing. She's built an incredibly strong team here for the BYU women. And you see, you know, they run for each other, for each, you know, for their coach. There's just a lot of love and respect, I think, on that BYU team chemistry, and they get the most out of each other.
So there you go, the top 5 right there.
Look at that distance from the first place runner to Lexi 5th place. I mean, that's 48 seconds. That's unfathomable. I would not have expected that kind of distance between those two athletes.
What does that tell you about this race today?
Well, like we said up top, we're giving Kaylee McCabe the course record here today. I'm confident that no one has run that time here. And I think it also probably shows that, Kaylee McCabe is as good as she's ever been. And her teammate, Joy, only a freshman. I mean, that's such a strong race from a freshman. Only 16 seconds back. Another great race by Juliet. I mean, she's established herself early on in her career as one of the very best runners in this conference, and she'll be around for a long time. So we'll get used to Juliet Cherubet and Judy Chepkoech too. Had a great race too. A really impressive race, I think, by Judy Chepkoech. We talk about Joy being a freshman, Juliet being a sophomore, but Judy's a freshman from Arizona State. She was 3rd at the Arturo Barrios Invite behind Juliet. So this is definitely a statement race for her.
And you see all the support surrounding the course provided by the Big 12 and Big 12 schools, and we're looking now at some unofficial results. There are the team scores.
And there we go. BYU unofficially looks like they've won their 2nd Big 12 championship on the women's side, 41 points. West Virginia, though, 2nd place, 60 points. They proved today that their performance at pre-nationals was not a fluke. They absolutely should be considered a contender, maybe even a favorite to make the podium here in Wisconsin later this month.
Yeah, Nowcott finishes 3rd, McCabe 1st, and obviously that has a lot to do with West Virginia's 2nd place finish.
Absolutely, yeah. They'll have a big loss next year, losing Kaylee McCabe, but their coach, Sean Cleary, has built a really nice program there in West Virginia. But Oklahoma State in 4th place, we talked that this is a rebuilding year for the women. To get 4th place in this sort of elite field, it just shows that Dave Smith and that Oklahoma State program, they might not always, win every single year, but they're going to maximize their performance, and you got to watch out for this Oklahoma State team in the coming years.
$41 points for BYU, 60 for West Virginia in 2nd, Utah 86, and Oklahoma State 103. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be back at Cottonwood Golf Course here in Waco, Texas, home of the 2024 Big 12 Cross Country Championship.
Good job.